Did you notice these details in Alan Becker's Animation vs. Minecraft? There's a secret employee that left Rocket Corp. Alright, this has been on my mind for a very long time, and doing the victim video made me realize that this guy is more prevalent than I first thought. This guy who was responsible for making the Minecraft mechanism is the same shade of green as this guy who was working with Victim and setting up the prototype memory machine back in 2011. I compared the two shots where the lighting least affects them, and they're both 00272E, or around the similar shade lighting tends to do that. This means that this guy was probably researching simulators and actually did something that was similar to what the Rocket Corp was already doing with the Outernet and Internet. If you notice what the simulator is, it connected the Internet to the stick world, something that Rocket Corp was already looking at in the past. Now, is he the super evil villain bad guy of the series? No, he's not. My guess is that this is an engineer that was a part of the big resignation from Rocket Corp post-2011. After Mitzi's death, the company had significant changes and Victim also had a big mental collapse. So chances are whoever this guy is took the ideas of the Internet and Outernet inspired by Rocket Corp tech and began meddling with things he didn't understand. This means that this guy also went through 2 traumatic incidents. Subscribe for more Alan Becker lore bits. Could the Rocket Corp mercenaries have won against the Color Gang? Short answer, yes. Long answer, yeah. Considering that one of them has a nuke if they really wanted to do damage. Kidding aside, what also gave the Color Gang the win here is that they weren't just playing combat with strength and sheer force, but also strategy. If you notice, the Rocket Corp mercenaries were actually just full-on damage. Red was passive until he was given the slightest of ins to capitalize on Ballista being a force-on-force unhinged attacker. Green capitalized on Primal's reckless lunges, which let him outmaneuver Primal with a simple discombobulating move, and Hazard made the mistake of fighting Blue in close quarters, which was something Blue was already trying to do from the very beginning, instead of capitalizing range against an enemy that doesn't have any kind of ranged weapon. This was what let Blue drown them because they were two-dimensional. But that's not to say that the mercenaries are weak. Rather, they were outskilled. And I doubt that this is the last we will see of them. If I were to give them a rematch, I'd have the 3 of them coordinate better as a team, since even against the Second Coming, they fought individually, learned from their mistakes, and what made their opponents win against them the first time would actually help them become a better unit. And in my opinion, I would start shuffling who fights who. Green's speed is challenged by Hazard, who is a jack of all trades and shows to have both offensive and defensive reactions. Ballista, being both skilled at ranged and melee weaponry because of their arsenal, would put Blue at a disadvantage, because Blue has a more front-heavy fighting style. Red will have to fight Primal, who is more melee specialized, both in terms of actual weapon expertise and strength, but he doesn't have the speed and force reallocation that Green used to beat him the first time. I'm excited to see what the mercenaries have in store next. Did you notice these details in Alan Becker's Animation vs. Minecraft? One of Yellow's main combat moves is his kicking style. He prefers kicks over direct brawler style punches, but one of the strangest combos that he has is he always goes for the legs. Yellow's actual weapon in combat is how he breaks other people's balances by either catching their weight and redirecting it, or trying to get them off balance by targeting their legs, or both. He does this against the glitch Green several times by targeting the legs and knees. He also does this to the chef during the sword fights by trying to step on their toes, and he even tries to go for Orange's legs and texture pack. If you want to see more Yellow fight breakdowns, check out my channel on How Strong is Yellow. Did you notice these details in Alan Becker's Animation vs. Minecraft? Yellow is the support of the team, and here's just a small background detail that I appreciate. In the ultimate weapon, we see that when Orange gives them the items, it's Red, Green, and Yellow that actually pick them up. Blue's in the back as he ducks away from the flying king. Green's the one that gives him the bow, and we see that Yellow gets a bunch of fireworks along with TNT. When they start their siege against the piglin, we see that Yellow actually gives Blue the fireworks ammo that he uses against the king. In the chef, we see him help Red jump to the cookbook, and we also know that he was an instrument of war in the green kicking shenanigans. In PvP, he was constantly supporting Orange against the other 3 and had his back. And in the ultimate weapon again, we see him glide with the fishing rod to move undercover against the king. Then he passes the fishing rod over to Green. In the cave spider episode, he jumps down to help Blue and nearly pushes Blue off the cart because he wasn't careful. Wait, one of those isn't like the other. If you want to see a breakdown of Yellow's fighting style, check out my channel. Did you notice these details in Alan Becker's Animator vs. Animation? I'm on the hunt for spicy background details, so here we are. Mitzi is the CEO of Rocket Corp when they were working together, with Victim being the co-founder. This is normal in the corporate world since the CEO usually manages the other parts of the company, like sales, logistics, marketing, and finances. Victim's role is more in line with the actual construction side. The guy that Agent beats up, according to the police report, was smuggling out tools from Garage A and is now covered in bruises. The item that Victim's making appears to be a helmet of some sort that goes on a sitting guy's head, which I think is the prototype for the gadget that he uses to project memories. Then we see the older version look very similar to it. I like how Victim was the one that was making plans for Mitsu's office, as per the handwriting. And speaking of handwriting, Mitsu uses two different kinds of A's. I don't know, I just found these very interesting.